Welcome back to my studio. I'm going to be painting the stream now. Now I have painted the rocks. The rocks are all mixtures of my basic adobe color, which is my mud, which is 2 parts of ultramarine blue plus 1 part of alizarin crimson. And for this color I've added cadmium orange plus a little bit more of the ultramarine blue and plus white. And all of these mixes in the rocks are all that same combination of colors. It's just different proportions give you all the various hues. I have gone back in now where my stream is going to, the water is going to fall over the rocks. I have gone ahead and painted in that too, because one of the basic rules in painting is upright planes are darker than flat planes. So we've got flat water coming in here and here, and then the water tumbles down over the rocks, and then it will be flat again here. So this coming over the rocks is going to be a little bit darker. I make mixtures of, I have several different mixtures for my water. I have ultramarine blue plus white. I have a little bit of ultramarine blue plus phthalo blue plus white. I have my mud plus white. And then I have a new color that I'm using for the water that is not normally on my palette, but this is a color that makes just a beautiful turquoise. And it's called say it in a minute here, phthalo turquoise blue. This is a Rembrandt oil color, and it's just one of those special colors that I use from time to time, and this really is wonderful in the water. And that's a warmer blue-green, so that I will use that in the foreground, and that makes the water come forward. So let's start back here in the background. I'm using, this is my ultramarine blue plus white. And then I want a little lighter version of this. So let me just mix that real quickly. Mostly white and just a little bit of ultramarine blue. This is back here in the background. And this is going to be coming in behind our dog, Trucker. I'll use a little smaller brush here. The angle of the canvas, I've got to move the camera over to the left so you can see as I'm working. So the perspective of the canvas you can see here is a little bit at an angle. But so the horse and the dog don't look totally in perspective, what you can see of them. But I bring this, and I'm going to have some light hitting that water so that it comes in from behind Trucker. And it accentuates then the shadow part on him. Just come down here. And some of that color shows through of the rocks where I'm having the water fall over that. And that's why I do that. Because as the water goes over the rocks, you are going to see a little bit of that rock showing through. And I even come back some with more rock color. And we want some water to fall over the rocks here. And then it's going to come down behind that so that that ledge is accentuated. And this is not a smooth transition where this comes over the rocks, because the water is kind of bubbling, and you'll have places where you see more of the rocks through the water. And then up here, I'm going to have some of that rock color reflect down into the water. And this is lighter, so this is going to reflect a little bit lighter. You don't have real clear reflections here because that water is moving, but I still want to have a little bit along the edge there. And I've saved my rock color so that I can make my reflections. Water comes here, comes over. And that just gives a little feeling of depth in here behind Royal's legs. And by having that light coming in behind him, that helps give the feeling of depth in the painting. Just like here, behind Trucker. Get a little bit of that light coming in, hitting the water back there. And then down here at the bottom of this, at the base of the rocks, again, work carefully around Royal's knees. His legs. I can come back, I'll be able to come back, and again, I've got the color also from him saved. But at the base of the rocks, there's foam. The foam collects at the base of this upright. So you get a little bit lighter color in here. Again, this is my white plus ultramarine blue. And I'm going to add a little more dark into this as it gets down to the bottom there. Now, along that back edge of the stream, there is a little, just gets a little bit of a line of demarcation. And what it is as the stream's moving, the debris in the stream kind of collects foam along the edge of the water. And so I just get a little line. It's not a solid line, but you just get a little bit of a demarcation there. And again, this is my ultramarine blue plus white. Now this rock comes out a little bit further, and so the light hits that foam just a little bit more. And I'm going to let this rock catch a little more light. And then that rock kind of reflects. See that rock through there. It's just a back and forth process. And the light hits the top of these as the water's going over the edge of this little waterfall. The light hits the top edge of this. So you're going to have a little bit lighter along the top edge of those falls. I'm not going to answer that. As I'm working, if it's important, the people will leave a message. If it's not important, they won't. Lots of times this time of day I get calls of people advertising stuff. They say, oh, this is the last time we're going to call about your whatever. And I wish it would be, but they seem to still keep calling. But you can just lose so much good painting time by answering phone, answering emails. So come back and add a little more light onto this water back here. Because again, I want this light to be behind Trucker and Royal, and that gives the feeling of depth back here. So there we go. Now I'm coming in with my ultramarine blue plus white, and I'm using the ultramarine blue plus white back here in the background because the color that I showed you, that phthalo turquoise green, is a brighter, more intense color, and so it will come forward. This is my phthalo blue plus the ultramarine blue. You can already see that that's a little brighter and that's coming forward. Here's the turquoise phthalo green, or turquoise phthalo blue, and you can see that this is a brighter color. And then I come back in and I work in some of my phthalo blue plus ultramarine blue. But you can already see how that water that comes forward. I'm going to use some more of this ultramarine blue. And this also then acts as a reflection from those blue bonnets that are right here, right above those rocks. And I do the blue bonnet reflection in first. Then I will pull the reflection of the rocks down into that so that their reflection comes down over the blue bonnets. And this water's reflecting down in, so the reflection's going to follow that. You just pull your reflection straight down into your water. Now I'm going to have a lot of flowers popping up here, so I'm not real concerned about Royal's back legs. Not going to do a lot of detail there because that's all going to be covered with flowers coming over. But I do want to bring some of my greens down from my cactus up there. That's a little bit too dark. And now bring my rocks colors over this. You can see how that looks like reflections down into that water. Again, this water is not smooth because it's coming over that little waterfall, so it's rippled. Some of that foam is going to be, that's a little bit too bright. Add a little more ultramarine blue into that. Now I'll come back and I'll fix Royal's legs, but right now I just want to get the canvas covered. But you can already see how that blue's going back and this brighter phthalo turquoise blue is coming forward. Now I'm going to work on these waterfalls here in the front. And again, I'm taking some of my phthalo blue plus white, and I'm coming here. Want this to be a little more intense than that back there so that it will come forward. So I'm using some phthalo blue plus white. And I'm also then using, this is a mixture of my mud plus white. Now see how I drag over and I get those neat little openings in the brush stroke? That's what I want to have, because that gives the feeling of that water coming over the rocks. I have a little water coming in here between the rocks. And to get those kind of brush strokes, you have to have a very light touch. I just lay my paint on the canvas and drag the brush. See how that gives the feeling that water is moving. It's coming in behind that rock. Now I've got some of this water is coming in between these two rocks here. Going to cascade down here. You can see how that gets that feel of the water moving. I don't want to mess too much with that. I want a little bit right there. But that's pretty well what I want. I love that feel of that water right there. I got lucky and got that. There's lots of times you try to get that and you don't. But it really takes a very light touch on the brush. I hold the brush almost with just a couple of fingers and balance it against the heel of my hand. And you just lay the paint on and drag it. Now we'll get a little bit of light here, just hitting there. Ooh, a couple more nice brush strokes. I want this to come over. I'm going to let that go around that rock. You kind of just follow what's happening on the canvas. I'm going to let this water come in behind this rock. There we go. All right, so we've got that waterfall. I'll continue to paint this and cover that. And thank you for watching my YouTube videos. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you would like to see the complete step-by-step process on this painting, just go to the link to my blog in the description below. The address of my blog is also on the final frame of the video. You can subscribe to my blog, and you'll get an email every time I post a new session on the blog. So you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and just thank you again so much. I really, really appreciate you. If you ever have questions, you can ask them in the comments section. So happy painting!